Welcome to the Eclectic Frontier. Today we begin a new horror anthology titled, Tales Too Terrible to Tell. This new series will feature your true tales of terror that have, before now, been too terrible to tell. Each episode will feature a single tale that was previously deemed too terrible to tell, but now, we are telling them anyway. So please, sit back, relax, and try not to be too terrified by these tales too terrible to tell, that we are telling to you anyway. Our first tale too terrible to tell comes to us from Brody Quinn Carter. Brody is 16 years old, and resides somewhere in the northeast region of the United States. And now, Brody's tale too terrible to tell. I've been living in the same house for 10 long years, and over that span of time occasionally weird things would happen, but over the past few months things have gotten pretty frightening. The first strange encounter happened right after I had turned 13 years old. I can remember it like it was only yesterday, even though it happened almost 3 weeks ago. I was your typical 13-year-old. I was a queer, non-binary gender-fluid asexual white cis male feminist, with an agenda, but I was also a very shy, outgoing little bastard who liked to be left alone. I spent most of my time sleeping, and swiping left on Tinder. When not pissing and moaning about everything and anything, I could be found up in the attic working on my agenda, or listening to music in my room. This particular day, the cough medicine I had guzzled down caused my nap to go on too long, and I slept through dinner. I woke up around 4 a.m. It was Friday, so my parents were not home. On the weekends, they would go down to the local glory hole, and suck the town dry. I would know if they were home, because at this time of night, you could usually hear them puking up their guts. All I could hear was silence. I had a weird feeling that something wasn't right. I had a queasy uncomfortable feeling, a feeling that I wasn't alone, that someone, or something was watching me. It's hard to explain. I tried to get out of bed to take a look around. But all of a sudden, I was flipped over onto my belly, and it felt like I was being held down. I couldn't move my arms or legs. I couldn't move at all. I was a prisoner on my own bed, paralyzed. It reminded me of the time my Uncle Jerry stayed with us, but it couldn't be Uncle Jerry because that bitch was dead. I know, because I'm the one who poisoned him. As I lay there I could feel something slide between my legs. I strained to arch my back, so it could gain better access, but whoever, or whatever it was, released me, and went away. Unfortunately, I could move again. After that, nothing happened again for at least another year or so. The next weird thing happened about a year later, a few weeks after I had turned 14. It was a Saturday night, and I was home alone, working on my agenda. On Saturday nights, my parents would go down to the local adult theater, and pull tricks to earn some extra cash. So it was just me. Alone. By myself. Suddenly, the lights went out. The house was completely dark. I was scared, and I remember thinking to myself, I wish the lights were on so I could see, and not feel so scared. At first, I thought maybe my stupid parents had forgotten to pay the electric bill, but then I remembered that I had paid it myself a week earlier, because they were always broke, and couldn't be trusted with money. I got up and went into the kitchen so I could get a flashlight from the junk drawer. We had a drawer full of shit that should have been thrown away, but we'd never throw anything away. because we'd think we might need it someday, so we'd stuff it into a drawer, in the kitchen, that we called the junk drawer. After I had gotten the flashlight, I headed toward the basement door, so that I could go down into the basement and check the fuse box. I hated the basement. Being down there alone always gave me the creeps. At first, I thought about waiting until my parents got home, so they could turn the lights back on, but then I remembered that they may not get home until Sunday morning, or worse, get arrested for prostitution again. I turned on the flashlight, opened the basement door, and shined the light on the steps so I could see into the darkness. I had only gotten a few steps down when I thought I heard the sound of someone moaning. I froze. I could feel every hair on my body stand on end. Is anyone there?" I asked. I heard a voice cut through the darkness, and speak one word. "Agenda." Was that really a man's voice calling out to me? It sounded like he said the word, agenda. "Is there someone there? Answer me," I demanded. Once again, I heard the voice speak to me from the dark. "Agenda. What's your agenda? I want to know all about your agenda," the voice demanded, sending shivers up and down my spine. My agenda? Who, or what, would want to know about my agenda? I turned to run back up the stairs as fast as I could, but something reached out and grabbed me by the ankle. I was trapped. I couldn't break free. I tried as hard as I could, but I could not break free. I started to scream and cry like a little bitch. It was pitiful. Finally, whatever was holding on to me had let go. I flew up the stairs, shot through the basement door, and ran headfirst into the wall. The next thing I remember was waking up on my bed. I could hear my parents in their bathroom vomiting. They had made it home. Maybe they had found me, and put me to bed. That's what I hoped. I was wrong. On the night table next to my bed, was an empty bottle of baby oil, and a note with one word scrawled onto it. Agenda. Brody, we are glad that you survived, and thank you for sharing your tale too terrible to tell. We wish you, and your agenda, many long and fruitful years. This has been Sir Ian C. Christopher, with the Eclectic Frontier. If you have enjoyed this tale too terrible to tell, I invite you to click the like button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the bell to receive notifications, and of course share us with your friends and family. Most importantly, I would like to remind you, keep your eyes open. You never know what you might see.
Tales Too Terrible to Tell has been brought to you by the Eclectic Frontier, and is endorsed and supported by Excel Comics. Purchase Captain China, or don't purchase comic books at all. Visit excelcomics.com, and get yours today.